Welcome in, one and all, to another fresh shave or review new music as it comes off the big spinning kebab stick of the industry. My name's Regan, aka Pink Demon, and if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. I'm putting that at the front now so that you don't forget by the end. Today we're looking at the Gloom in the Corner, who are a melodic metalcore band from Melbourne. Musically, they're neither mild nor milquetoast, and you'd be massively mistaken if you thought they were middling. Where was I going with this? Right. And they've released a new album last month called Royal Discordance, which is their fourth album from what I can see online, which is interesting to me because I feel I really heard about Gloom in the Corner probably post-COVID. I don't recall hearing about them kind of outside of the 2020s. So to find out they dropped their first album in 2016, I didn't realise their discography went that deep, and I'm excited to jump into it if that's a little spoiler for how I feel about this album. If I had to elevator pitch Royal Discordance, I would definitely call it Ice Nine Kills, but with Fall Out Boy song titles. And yeah, it's a bit tongue-in-cheek, but it's also an accurate pitch for their sound. They've got Fall Out Boy's kind of theatrical pop-punk sensibilities, and they've really pushed that into Ice Nine Kills' melodic metalcore sound with those, really big bombastic songs. And maybe I'm not the perfect target demographic for this album, but like if you listen to Fall Out Boy 20 years ago, and you listen to heavy music now, and I know so many people that applies to, you gotta jump on this. This is great. As I mentioned, it's got that big melodic metalcore sound with these huge, gorgeous, amazing compositions of strings that just add such majesty to the song and really drive home the drama and mood of the album in that theatrical pop-punk emo kind of way that I'm going to keep harping on it, but it's really, we have Ice Nine Kills at home, and that's nothing but a compliment. They are one of the hottest bands right now, and to have someone in your own backyard who's, matching them, damn, that's good. Damn, I love living in Melbourne. The vocals were also a really strong point. It's a majority of screams throughout the album, but there are cleans, and they're really good because the vocals can hold a note extremely well and has a beautiful tone / timbre, and it has that pomposity of the Fall Out Boy style without overdoing it on the pop punk style. That really nasally, whiny vocal style. It's all the good parts of that without relying on the trope of it. And it is disgusting and just plain confusing how many Australian pop punk bands came along and put on that accent. I'm like, give it a rest, guys. And I'm so glad to see bands kind of approaching that sound and not doing the gimmick. And just so I don't dig myself a hole in this, I'm going to compare them to other bands just one more time. And I think in this age of playing the algorithm to get your music out there in front of the right people, and just knowing that they do features, because I've seen a whole bunch of feature track hit my algorithm for other bands, God, I think it would be well worth them dishing out the money to get an Ice Nine Kills feature on their next album so that it puts it in the Spotify algorithm in front of the entire Ice Nine Kills fan base. And I think that could just really blow up Gloom in the Corner. One thing I really like about how they've structured their songs is that they've been really restrained with their breakdowns. I wouldn't say they're sparing with them, but they also don't just spam them wherever they can. It's got this real Goldilocks sweet spot of just the perfect amount. You're never left thinking, oh, there should have been one here, and you're never left thinking, man, this one didn't need to be here, it's not adding anything. And every now and then they do this thing that I just love, and once again, you can't overuse this technique. You have to just do it once or twice on an album, but they have done that, and that's just throwing in a breakdown without a build-up, like going straight from like the last syllable of a chorus line into a breakdown. It is such a cool effect because it really catches you off guard and whips your head around the first time it happens. And I like to be kept on my toes like that. I don't want to be listening to safe music all the time that's predictable. It's nice sometimes, but other times you want some danger in your life. Variety is the spice of life. The album starts decently, but I think it really peaks in the middle from Hollow Point Elysium onwards. It's just a 5-track run up to That's Life, Carry Me Home, where it really just hits all their strong points, track after track after track. As I've mentioned before a million times, that when you're playing heavy music, it's really important to leave yourself room to breathe so that you can step it up when you need to step it up and, kind of exaggerate and intensify your sound, especially when you're kind of doing these almost theatrical piece songs. You really want to, be able to crescendo the mood of the song. And they've definitely done that really well on Shadow Raspberry 2, where it goes really heavy, creates a big impact, and the contrast of the clean string section just doubles the effect down. It almost builds that kind of Dark Souls boss music when it's getting really intense, and then the strings come in, and you're like, oh god, the only thing missing is Latin singing, and I know that I'm just fucked in that case. Throughout the album, there's plenty of chances for the vocals and the guitars to shine, but I really love on Assassination Run. There's just some sections in there where the drumming really comes through. I really like a nice, strong drum performance because it's just so foundational that most people kind of almost ignore it. It just blends into the rhythm section. Like, you would notice if it was missing, but you don't pay attention. But, like, every now and then when you hear a piece, it's like, oh, wow, that was really nice. It'll be a drum fill, or it'll be a really intense section, or, something that's a bit more complex. And you're like, wow, shit, yeah, I forget that the drummer, it's so easy to forget that the drummer's there. Even when you're watching him live, he's sat somewhere at the back of the stage. But no, sometimes they just put a bit of shine on it, put it really to the front, and remind you that, like, hey, we've also got an awesome drummer in our awesome band. And if I could break my own promise to not talk about other bands, look, Enter Shikari made their entire career off one funny clap song, and boy howdy, do I love the start of That's Life, because it has a clapping section, and I am like a seal at the water park. Whenever someone tells me to clap, I clap along. And I think that really just cemented it. Like I said, you got that really strong run of songs, and like when you hit that fifth song in that really strong run, and then it starts with a funny clapping section that's, it's a little bit gimmicky, but not in a bad way. It's not a tacky gimmick. It's something that people will come to love in a set list. So like, oh, it's the song with the clap. And yeah, I think that really cemented, like, yeah, this band can kind of do it all, I guess. It's an important thing of having depth of the band is depth is a matter of range, alright? If a good band's depth is like that and there's heaps of range in it, then you notice that some bands will be like, oh, so this is deep, and they will have their range be there, and it's like, alright, there's no contrast. Like, yeah, you're really good, but you kind of just show off all the things you're good at the entire time, and that's when it becomes a bit wanky. You gotta kind of be able to scale it back. So this is like them at their most technical, most proficient, and this is them putting a funny clap section at the start of one of the songs. And you get this beautiful contrast of, like, they can be maestros, they can be crowd pleasers, they can do all of this in between. And that's where the expertise comes from. That's what makes you go like, oh wow, shit, this is great, there's so much to experience here. It doesn't matter if you're this and I experience the entire thing on one listen through, or if you're this and I experience the entire thing on one listen through. Both of those are bad. I want this. I want to slowly sink through as I listen to it on repeat. So at the start, I'm like, clap song, let's go. And on my third, fourth listen, I'm like, oh man, did you hear the drumming section in Assassination Run? How good was that? That's what I love about really sinking your teeth into a good, deep album, and you really get that with Royal Discordance. Now, it's not all perfect. After That's Life, it flows smoothly into Army of Darkness, and I don't think they're meant to be a two-part song, because the two songs after it are a two-part song, and they're named Love 1 and Love 2, so the fact that these aren't, named similarly doesn't make me think they're meant to be next to each other. I think it's just a nice detail that the song runs through. But the two songs are very similar in structure and sound, and it creates a bit of a fatigue because they're also 4.5 minutes each. So you get this kind of 8 to 9 minute section that just sounds like one song. I don't think their sound is particularly suited for 8-minute plus songs, considering the longest song on this album is 6.5. Army of Darkness isn't a bad song by any metric. I quite enjoy it. It's just having them back to back and having them so similar, it creates a lot of fatigue. right near the end of the album too. It's where you want to avoid fatiguing the audience, because otherwise they'll look at that and they'll be like, "Ah, man, there's 2 songs after this," and creates a bit of a drainer feeling. You know, you want them excited for a big finale at the end of the album. You don't want people being like, "Ah, man, they put the scraps at the end of the album." So I'll just move Army of Darkness further up the track listing, I reckon. I reckon that would solve it. And just to clarify, the last 2 songs are absolutely not drainers, and they do finish the album big, and they really prove, you know, the way they work together, that Gloom in the Corner can think, write, and play big. As I said at the start, I didn't really grow up listening to Fall Out Boy, and I've come into Ice Nine Kills relatively recently. So for me, this is a really strong album, and I quite enjoy it. So I think for other people who've come from the right background to really get this music, I think this could be an S tier album. And yeah, I listen to this and I'll be like, man, I could see Gloom in the Corner being someone's favorite band. And I do think that is a special accolade, because, you know, there are so many bands out there, even big bands, commercially successful bands, where I'm like, yeah, they're great, but I don't think anyone's ever put them in their top 3 list. Whereas this, I listen to this and they've kind of got that it factor where I'm like, yep, someone's going to hear this and just so wholly meld their heart to it that it's all they want to listen to. For anyone who knows me, that's, you know, my hybrid nightmares. I reckon there is definitely someone out there who that's their Gloom in the Corner, and I think they're probably listening to Royal Discordance and being like, this is an S tier album. And I'm like, you know what? I don't think you're wrong. Might not be my S tier album, but I think it's definitely an S tier album. So, yeah, massive congratulations, Gloom in the Corner. You guys put out absolute ripper. Royal Discordance is great. End of review. My promise is over at this point. So, I'm just gonna say, if you like Ice Nine Kills, and heaps of people like Ice Nine Kills right now, get on this. They're in your backyard. They will play headline shows here, whereas Ice Nine Kills haven't yet. So, you know, they probably hate us. Gloom in the Corner probably loves us. Consider that. And support them. Support them massively, because they deserve it, and this album is great. Thank you so much for watching up to this point. As I said at the start, like and subscribe if you want more album reviews. And other than that, I hope you're listening to good music. Peace out. Did I hit record? Oh, thank fuck I hit record.